Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to my guide to how to make a Wasteland Wraith, aka an unholy terror of the night. No, just kidding. This is a guide how to get almost literally every damage modifier and crit modifier in the game by about level 50. So let's get started. Okay, and you first put your stats into your character. You want to put 2 into strength. These are not relevant, but plus the bobblehead gets you armor, which you will need. Rank 1 right away will give you shadowed armor, which is really helpful because it makes it easier to hide in shadows. The rest aren't really as relevant, but you'll need them eventually. The rest in strength is pretty much garbage, for at least for a stealth build. You want rifleman for the 30% or 100% more damage and 30% target penetration. Locksmith, master locksmithing. Definitely pick this over hacker, although I have both. But level up this up first, as I've picked about 3 times as many locks as I've hacked. And then you're going to start with 7 perception. Get the bobblehead, get the sniper. Don't really need anything else in it. It's not really, again, relevant. 1 in endurance. Not really, again, the idea is not to get hit. There's some nice stuff in here, like you can swim and not take radiation. And eventually I'm making a beeline for ghoulish, so I can just stop worrying about radiation in general. But that'll be a while yet. You want to start with 2 in charisma, plus the bobblehead gets you lone wanderer. This gets you 100 carry weight, 30% less damage taken, and 20% more damage done. I wouldn't really worry about prioritizing it until you can actually fill it in though, which is not to level 40. We're going to go with 5 in intellect, which gets us a scrapper, which you can break down weapons to get all of these nice components. Eventually, once you tag components, they become visible. Hacker again, gun nut, 1, 2, and 3. Eventually 4, but I don't really need it unless you start using laser plasma weapons and or your power armor. Plus the bobblehead gets you to 6 for science. You need rank 1 for the recon scope with gun nut 3. Anything higher is either for, again, power armor or the other weapons, but I use strictly ballistic for the time being. Eventually you're going to have to invest like 50 plus or nearing 50 plus 1 in intellect and get chemist. So you can make the better chems, invest more if you feel like it, but 1 gives you the 25% damage for I think it's about 12 minutes and 20% crit chance as well as some other helpful ones like highlighting enemies with plus 5 intellect and like more AP and more AP regeneration if you need it. And then agility. Gunslinger would be the one I would prioritize even over rifleman, as you get a silencer on your pistol a lot sooner and increases the range significantly. And fill that as you can. Try to make sure, same with Gunslinger, you're filling these in as close to the level that's available as possible. And Sneak, I wouldn't prioritize too much about getting your damage. Once your damage gets up to be fairly significant, you want to invest in that. Stop triggering explosives and such, sometimes even when you're not even sneaking. And then this is the one to really worry about though, around 23. Running no longer adversely affects your stealth. I'm going to come back to Mr. Sandman in a second. And then we're going to put 6 in agility plus the special book for 7. I would say bobblehead, but it's in a 45 plus area, so it's a little tricky to get. You can always get that later because more agility is always better, and eventually you might want gun fu, because it can be helpful, or at least fun. But anyways, yeah, ninja, get your sneak all the way up to 3.5. And then at 25, gun nut 3, when you get the silencer on your shotgun and your sniper, is when you want to invest more points in this. I would say 1 in this just for your snipe, for your pistol, and for the ability to do the Sandman kills. But eventually you do end up doing 50% more sneak attack damage. And makes your 3.5 into a 5.4 for me. I also have the companion perk from Deacon. And then in luck, we are going to start with 5. And there's 2 things here that you want. Bloody Mess. Sure, it's fun to make things explode, but it's about 5, 10, and 50% raw damage buff. Get the bobblehead, and you'll get to 6 better criticals, which increases critical damage. I'm not sure how this works with sneak attack. I don't think it works directly with it, but it works with the critical in bats. The rest of this is just increased chances to like refill your critical meter for the most part. Other than this, which I would also really like, but it's not too essential because again we're not using a lot of action points. We're mostly just shoot everything dead, and that's about it for the build. That's about all you need, and at that point you will be a beast. I did a slightly different build for myself. I had max agility, intellect, and perception pretty much from the get-go, through the 1 in charisma for my plus the bobblehead to get my my lone wanderer 20% damage. Now I'm bumping into luck. This was at 1 at one point. I'm now up to 5, getting better criticals in the next 4 levels, so I'll have it by 55. I'm not sure exactly what level you have to be able to get everything with the slightly altered build that I just suggested, but by 50 at the latest you'll have a pretty ridiculous build. And just to show you, this is the Cloak and Dagger perk you get for maxing out Deacon's rep, 20% sneak attack damage, and the other one worth getting is Kill Shot from Creedy, 20% more accuracy for headshots, which presently I believe is broken, because I went from going have about 95, I'd have 95% chance on a headshot, or a body shot, and like maybe 75 on a head, and now all of a sudden I went, right after I got this, I went from like I'll have 5% on a body shot and 95% on a headshot, so that'll probably get fixed eventually. Yeah, that's the basics of the build. Only things I will mention is this is the deliver of the pistol you want to get from the railroad right away. It's amazing. It comes with a silencer built in, and the inherent AP cost in it is significantly reduced than the actual pistol. And this was a 2-shot sniper. No, this one was. Shoots an additional projectile. When you first get it, it'll literally double the damage. High levels, it still does about almost 100 more than my other sniper, but not quite double anymore. But it's definitely something to keep an eye out for. It's a double shot. And then when it comes to gear, you want to keep an eye out for anything that's chameleon. Enemies that are harder to detect you when you're sneaking and not moving. So as long as you're crouched in place, you can still move, aim, and fire. You'll have the chameleon or the stealth boy effect. Plus 1 agility and perception. It's cunning. The modifier is always helpful. Increased movement speed. And reduce fall damage. It's acrobatic. It's 50%. You can stack it if you get a left and right foot, and it's 100% fall damage reduction. So far I have 4 left boots and not a single right one. And these are the military fatigues, plus 2 agility, best you can get in slot for Under Armour. And then generally I've just been going with a perception hat and glasses. Oh, and always carry a hazmat suit. Always a good idea. Just throw that on anytime you need radiation and need to swim. And I carry an intellect set before I start in a quest to make sure I rest. Throw my intellect set, pop a mentat, I'm at +5 intellect, as well as a charisma set to make up for the fact that I only started with 1 charisma, and you'll start with 2, potentially 3 if you get the bobblehead right away with this build, but a +4 always helps. And again, there's also chems you can use to boost that up if you really need to. Always throw this on before you make any deals, obviously, or do any speech checks. And this is essentially exploiting, but the reason I do a low charisma build is A, it's not that great in this game, as all you do is get a bit more caps, a little bit more information, and rarely do you ever actually skip anything or unlock anything, but you can always save in the middle of conversations. especially when there's multiple speech checks. Like there'd be an easy one, a medium one, and a hard one. You couldn't get the first one, save, the second one, save, the hard one, save. And it's really helpful for certain things, like especially, I'm not going to mention who, but there's a certain person with a chem addiction, and I didn't want them to kill themselves, so I convinced them to just stop. And luckily enough, actually, I got it on the first try, even though it was a hard. But anyways, that's about it to make a Wasteland Wraith and have maximum damage and crit modifier by about level 50. Well, see you guys.